Hello, I'm Matt White and we're here in the cigar garden of the Dakota Hotel. I'm here with Noé Tesseron. Hello Noé.
Thanks so much for having me.
So you're welcome. Noé is a cognac expert and I'm here to learn all that I can about cognac and most importantly, learn how to drink it properly. Here's my first question for you and it's quite broad. What is cognac?
So cognac is a very special spirit made out of grapes and it's made entirely in the Cognac region.
So it's effectively a brandy and it can only be a cognac if it's from that area?
Exactly.
So there are lots of do's and don'ts to how to drink cognac to make sure that you get the best of it. But one thing that's always troubled me is, do you have to be a purist? Can you mix it or do you have to drink it neat?
I believe personally there's no bad way to enjoy cognac as long as you enjoy a good cognac. If it's for sipping, there are some traditions, I would say. So the best way to enjoy sipping cognac, I would say, is to enjoy it old. And what's better than drinking an XO cognac, and that is really the specialty of Tesseron cognac.
So we're going for the good stuff, the old stuff.
Yes, we are. So most of the eaux-de-vie that are present in that blend date back from my great-grandfather collection, who created the house in 1905.
Yeah, we're drinking history.
Yes, we are.
I like that. So as a rule, if you're going to sip a cognac, the older the better. That makes sense. Are there specific glasses that you have to have for enjoying brandy?
I would choose the tulip glasses, which are just opening up at the very end of the glass to get really the full flavors and aromas of the cognac.
Yep.
And actually, there are two stages for the tasting of cognac.
Okay.
There is what we call the first nose, which will be really the main aromas that you get from any cognac. A little bit of alcohol, sugar, caramel notes. And then there is the second nose that you get after that, which are the more fine aromas of maybe cigar box, very chocolate, dried fruits.
Well, let's try. Cheers.
Cheers.
Smooth.
And big amplitude on the mouth, and the finish never ends.
That's so good, but tell me, because I've always wondered about this and I see this everywhere, what we're drinking at the moment is an XO. So what's an XO?
So an XO means it needs to spend at least 10 years in barrel. VS is 2 years, VSOP is 4 years.
What does VS stand for?
Very special old pale, VSOP. Okay. And XO, extra old.
That colour, I mean, that is a beautiful caramel colour.
You know, the color comes from the influence of wood during the aging process. Most of the eaux-de-vie that are in this blend comes from my great-grandfather's time.
Yeah.
So it has spent a lot of time in wood.
And how long has this one been aged for?
So more than 3 generations in oak.
Wow, old. So you've just talked us through all the different things you have to do when you're enjoying it neat, but now we're trying something a little bit different. You've ordered us a couple of cocktails.
Yes.
Talk me through this, what have we got?
So we have a very traditional cocktail, the sidecar.
I've heard of the sidecar.
And we have the French Negroni, which is Negroni with Campari, Vermouth and Cognac.
Wow,
instead
Cognac
of gin.
Negroni.
Yes.
Interesting.
French Negroni is one of my favorites.
And there's no way that you're going to use that aged cognac in this cocktail.
No, that's why we made a Tesseron composition, which was specially crafted for cocktail.
And is there a massive difference between what we're about to drink in a cocktail and the aged stuff?
So mainly in a young cognac, you're looking for more punch, more fruit.
Yep.
You need to get more aromas to stand out in a cocktail.
Should we go for the classic?
Please, be my guest.
Oh, now that is good. Oh, now that I could just drink by the bucket. So, with your company doing things like this, is that to try and appeal to the younger generations?
Cognac has been sold around the world for many centuries now, and I think it needs to adapt to modernity sometimes.
Because when you look down a cocktail menu in a bar or a restaurant, you see very little, in my experience, cognac cocktails.
Well, there are more and more, I'm telling you. Even the French Negroni is a good adaptation, you know.
Wow. That's exceptional.
You know, it brings a little bit more sweetness than with a regular Negroni.
So if cognac isn't necessarily something that you have been drinking, would drinking a cocktail with something like this be a nice way of getting into it?
Exactly. I mean, as you mentioned, appeal to the younger generations, or most importantly, people that are not very familiar with cognac and that can find it, maybe it's too traditional, it's not for me. I think you have to find the balance between tradition and modernity. And having a cocktail cognac is the perfect way in, as you said. now we're going to talk about food pairing with Cognac. And I have 3 different dishes in front of us.
And 3 very different dishes as well. Look
Very
at this.
different. It's to give you really the possibilities of food pairing with Cognac. The Lot 90 that we have here, which is the youngest of our XOs, goes very well with fish, salmon.
Fish?
Yes, fish.
But fish, I would say, is a very delicate little piece of food that you probably want to have a nice little white wine, nothing too overbearing. Cognac and fish to me sounds odd.
Exactly. But the flavor profile, I would say, the style of the blend of our Lot 90 is really light. It's a very savory, floral and fruit-forward Cognac.
So if people are doing this at home, if they're having fish, they want a nice young Cognac.
Yes, but not too overwhelming in terms of flavors. You have to have something in the style of the blend which is quite on the light side, if I may.
Okay. Do you know what? And I'll be perfectly honest with you, I thought that's not going to match with fish, but it really does. I'm a big cheese fiend. I love cheese. So what's going to match?
Lot 76,
Yep.
which is about 1 generation old in barrel. It's a little bit more spicy, it's more muscular in a way. So it really matched the aromas of blue cheese, which tend to be very dry, very aromatic.
Well, this is turning out lovely. I'll eat, you pour. That is so good.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought that?
You know, it really balances the aromas of the cheese.
The next one we're going to do is chocolate.
Yes.
Now this is probably something a little bit more familiar to people because Cognac is kind of a dessert.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Chocolate really is a perfect match with our Lot 53, which is really on the sweet notes.
So if we're looking for something like that, if we're looking for a Cognac that's a little bit more sweeter because we know we want it to match dessert, how do we know? Is it because we look for an older one?
An older one which will tend to be on the sweet spot, naturally sweet, with the influence of wood, of oxygen in the barrel as well. And you know, Colombar, which is present in this blend, is also very aromatic and very subtle grape varietal, which is really perfect for chocolate.
Even with smelling, with the chocolate in my mouth, I can tell that this is going to work.
Well, you know, chocolate and an old XO is always a good pairing. Huh? You can go wrong.
Yeah. Okay, that's me. Let's finish this right here now. I'm happy. Okay, well, I've learned a lot. Thank you very much for that. But if you've taken anything from this today, I hope it's one of these 3 things. If you're going to drink Cognac neat, then make sure it's aged. Make sure it's a bit older because then the flavors are going to be a lot more complex and you'll get more out of it. If you're going to mix it, if you're going to have a cocktail, then we know now, just use quality ingredients. Just do whatever you like as long as it's good and then you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
And thirdly, and this is the big surprise for me, Cognac isn't just for dessert, but you can match it with cheese, and incredibly, you can match it with fish. And I didn't know that, but it does work.
It does.
So remember, if you are going to enjoy Cognac, make sure it's Tesseron. Thank you, man.